Welcome back, students, to Gyanmanjari Vidyapith online education. I hope, students, that you all are fine and safe at your home. Students, this is the unit from our supplementary reader snapshot. The name of this unit is Ranga's marriage. We have discussed half of the portion of this unit, and in last lecture we had discussed that Ranga has actually arrived at the village. In the village, that's very surprising thing that a person is going to outside the village for the further study. Ranga is that person. Now Ranga has arrived, he has returned back to the village, and people very excitedly observed him very well when they could know that actually he is the same. There is no change inside him, and that's why they returned to their houses. And here the writer is impressed by the etiquettes of Ranga, and he gives him blessings that very soon he can get married. Okay, so students, up to this portion we had discussed in the last lecture. Now we are going to proceed further. You may carry your supplementary reader snapshot with you. Okay, now we are going to start the new paragraph. That afternoon, when I was resting, Ranga came to my house with a couple of oranges in his hand. A generous, considerate fellow. It would be a fine thing to have him marry, settle down, and be of service to society, I thought. Means, right now, the writer is very much impressed that Ranga is well mannered and he is there with the couple of oranges in his hand, and he is very generous, considerate fellow, and that's why he is willing that he should get married soon. There is this idea inside his mind that very soon he may get married because he is very well person, well mannered, that's why, and generous also. Next paragraph, students. For a while we talked about these and that. Then I came to the point. Rangappa, when do you plan to get married? Now, of course, Ranga was there, and for a while, for a few minutes, they were talking regarding this and that, the another things, other matters, and finally, the writer was thinking about this idea, and that's why he reached up to the point. And finally, he asked that Rangappa, when do you plan to get married? It means, have you planned anything regarding your marriage? Or have you thought anything regarding this? What's about that? Actually, right now, the writer wants to gather the information about Ranga. He's trying to know what is Ranga actually thinking about the marriage. That's why he has asked this question to Ranga. Next line, students. I'm going to get married now, he said. Why not? Ranga replied, I'm going to get married now. Means right now, this time he is ready for the marriage. Why not? I need to find the right girl actually. This is the point. Ranga is saying, I need to find the right girl to get married. The proper life partner. I know an officer who got married only 6 months ago. He is about 30 and his wife is 25, I'm told. They will be able to talk lovingly to each other. Let's say I married a very young girl. She may take my words spoken in love as words spoken in anger. Means right now is talking about the choice of life partner, and is also giving the example of one officer. Ranga is saying that actually he knows one officer who's got married 6 months before, 6 months ago, and he's 30 years old, right? And his wife's age is 25 years old. So actually he is thinking that there is not that much age difference between these two people. Okay, 5 years age difference is there. So he is thinking that there is not that much age difference, and that's why if she is going to listen, she is going to understand in a proper way, it would be very better. Suppose the age difference is very much more than 5 years or something like that, then it is possibility that Ranga is speaking something in loving way, then she can understand it, she can mean it out like a rude way, like the anger and all. And that's why Ranga is worried about this thing, because he thinks about marriage that it should be in a proper way and it should be with a proper person who can understand his feelings, and there should not be any kind of this kind of misunderstanding. Okay students, I hope that you are understanding these things. Recently, a troupe in Bangalore staged the play Shakuntala. There is no question of Dushyanta falling in love with Shakuntala if she were young, like the present day brides. Is there? What would have happened to Kalidas' play? If one gets married, it should be to a girl who is mature. Otherwise, one should remain a bachelor. That's why I am not marrying now. Actually, he's saying that about marriage, his mentality, his thinking is that a person should get married when he is matured enough. If a person is not matured or is not even able to understand anything, then a person should remain bachelor. Means a person should not get married. And he is even giving the example of Shakuntala and Dushyanta, that there was also this kind of same thing, and that's why he is saying because of this level of maturity right now he is not ready, that's why he is not marrying now. So this is the statement made by Ranga is speaking all these things. A man should marry a girl he admires. A man should marry a girl he admires. Is there any other reason? Actually, writer asked this question. A man should marry a girl he admires. Means he likes, he praises. Suppose a man doesn't like, he even doesn't wish to get married, then he should not. What we have now are arranged marriages. How can one admire a girl with milk stains on one side of her face and wetness on the other, or so young that she doesn't even know how to bite her fingers? It means it is about that period that arranged marriage were happening in the time when they were just like kids. They were not having any kind of maturity or anything else. This kind of typical arranged marriages also were there in existence. They were not even matured to understand this thing, that what is actually marriage. At that time they were getting married. So he is saying that how can a person like or admire that girl who even doesn't know how to bite her fingers, that much immature and little in age. So this is a statement made by Ranga. Next statement that is made by the writer. One a neem fruit, the other a beetle gourd. Exactly, Ranga said laughing. I was distressed that the boy who I thought would make a good husband had decided to remain a bachelor. Now the writer became a little bit disappointed. He thought that actually he was disappointed because he was thinking that this is a guy, Ranga, he is the boy who can be the better husband. He can be proved like a very good husband, but he is even thinking to remain bachelor. He is thinking not to even get married, that's why he is disappointed. After, after chatting for a little longer, Ranga left. I made up my mind right then that I would get him married. They discussed about something, the other matters in all, and after that Ranga left the place from the house of writer. Okay, and finally writer made up his mind that he will get him married. Means he is deciding that now Ranga should get married. Now it would be interesting thing, students, that what will be happen the next. Ranga is thinking that he is not ready for the marriage. A person should even remain bachelor if the person is not mature enough. Okay, and the writer has decided that now Ranga has to get married. So let's think what will be happen the next. It would be quite interesting to know. Next paragraph. Rama Rao's niece, a pretty girl of 11, had come to stay with him. Now the another character enters here the story. Who is this girl? See, Rama Rao's niece, a pretty girl of 11. What is the age? The age is only of 11 years. Had come to stay with him. She was from a big town, so she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. This is the girl of 11 years old. This is the age, and she was belonging from a big town, not the village area. And that's why she was knowing how to play these instruments, the veena and the harmonium. She also had a sweet voice. Even she was having that gift of melodious voice. Both her parents had died. It means she was orphan, who had not parents, and her uncle had brought her home. She was living with uncle. Ranga was just the boy for her, and she the most suitable bride for him. Right now, Ranga is the boy, only boy for him. Nothing relation is there right now, and right now this girl is the most suitable girl for Ranga. Since I was a frequent visitor to Rama Rao's place, the girl was quite free with me. The writer was habituated to go to the house of Rama Rao, and that's why it's natural, student, when a person arrives at our place very frequently, and that's why we feel more comfortable with the same. And the same thing we can find here with that girl also, that she is very free with the writer. I completely forgot to mention her name. Oh, up to this point, the writer even didn't mention the name of this girl. And what's the name of this girl? Ratna. Yes, Ratna it was. The very next morning, I went to their house and told Rama Rao's wife, I'll send some buttermilk for you. Ask Ratna to fetch it. Now the writer is talking about the next day. It is the time of morning. That the next morning, writer went to the house and he told Rama Rao's wife that I will send some buttermilk for you. Ask Ratna to fetch it. Means Ratna may come to the house and she may take it with her. Next paragraph. Ratna came. It was Friday. So she was wearing a grand sari because and it was Friday, and that's why she was wearing a grand sari. She was in sari. I told her to sit in my room and requested her to sing a song. I sent for Ranga. While she was singing the song, Krishnamurti in front of my eyes. Now here this is the planning of the writer. He wants to gather both these people, Ranga and Ratna. And that's why when Ratna arrived at the house of the writer requested her for the song because her voice is that much melodious, and that's why he went for Ranga. Ranga reached the door. He stopped at the shore. He didn't want the singing to stop but was curious to see the singer because the voice was that much melodious. Actually, he was thinking that because of the noise, the song may be stopped. because of his arrival. And even he was that much curious to know that who is actually the singer, who's the person who is singing in that much melodious way. Here he becomes excited. Carefully, he peeped in. The light coming into the room was blocked. Ratna looked up and seeing a stranger there, abruptly stopped. Actually, when Ratna could find that, when she could know that actually there is one stranger for her, of course, Ranga is stranger, and that's why when she observed him, she stopped. Next paragraph, students. Suppose you buy the best quality mango. You eat it slowly, savoring its peel before biting into the juicy flesh. You do not want to waste any part of it. Before you take another bite, the fruit slips out your hand and falls to the ground. What do you feel? Ranga's face showed the same disappointment when the singing stopped. Actually, this is the very beautiful comparison made by writer. The comparison of this juicy fruit mango and this melodious song that is sung by Ratna. Here he is thinking that whenever we wish to have that tasty fruit that is very much delicious, we won't be able to even miss even a single slice. But here what is said that actually imagine that we are going to have it and before that it slips out, then what can be happened? The same thing here has happened with Ranga, because the song, the singing stopped. That's why he becomes disappointed. Okay, the next paragraph. You sent for me? He asked as he came in and sat on the chair. Ratna stood at a distance, her head lowered. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. Once our eyes met and he looked very embarrassed. No one spoke for a long while. Ranga observed Ratna. Ratna was looking lower. She was not looking at him, or she was not even looking at the writer. She was looking lower, and Ranga was repeatedly observing Ratna, looking at Ratna. And when the eyes met of the writer and Ranga felt little bit even more embarrassed. And for a while, nobody spoke anything. Nobody said anything. Here actually we can remember that what is the decision of Ranga. He has decided not to get married if the person is not matured enough, if there is much more age difference and all. So he has this kind of mentality in his mind. And the writer, he has decided that actually Ranga has to get married. So in this clashes, it would be very interesting for us, for the readers, to see what is going to be happen the next. So students, now we are going to end up this lecture today, and your today's homework is you will write the thoughts and ideas of Ranga about the marriage and what is the decision of the writer regarding the marriage of Ranga. I hope students that you could understand, but suppose you have any difficulty, then you are free to ask me. Take care of your health, students. Thank you. Have a nice day.